Hey, you fabulous interior design professional. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Business of Design. Today's guest is an interior designer and an author, Erin Gates. And this is a bit of a departure for us here at Business of Design because instead of talking about the business of design, we get to dive into the actual design itself, which sounds delicious, right? I mean, there's no business without the heart of design and decorating. So I reached out to Erin because I got my hands on a copy of her latest book, Elements of Timeless Style, and I just devoured it. I loved it, partly because Erin and I approach decorating in a similar way, and partly because it reminded me of how wonderful it is to actually sit down with a beautiful book and flip through gorgeous photos and get lost in it. Erin helps her clients create homes they grow with, homes that evolve with them over time. It's not just about finding the perfect paint color, and we all know that, or choosing the right piece of furniture. It's about creating a space that feels like a home, no matter how long you plan to live there. So whether you're designing for yourself, for a client, or maybe even dreaming about your own forever home, Erin's insights are a fantastic reminder of what really makes design timeless. And if you would like to know how I pace and block time to design a home from start to finish, oh boy, I've got some courses available for you. I think step 4 will change your life. So if you are struggling to take the lead on projects and pull your projects together in a timely, efficient manner, I literally give you a timeline for designing the house. Stick around. This episode is packed with incredible advice, inspiring stories, and so much more. I'm so glad you're here. And if you want my timeline, if you want to know literally how much time I devote to every step of designing a home from top to bottom, go to businessofdesign.com and become a member. What are you waiting for?
Welcome to Business of Design. Business of Design is the world's best business training for interior design professionals like you. If you're ready to implement an exact business model for running a streamlined, profitable business, field tested by thousands of design professionals around the world, head to businessofdesign.com and get started today. It's time to dramatically improve your business and transform your life. Business of Design. There's only one.
On this show, as you know, we normally talk about the business of design, but the reality is there wouldn't be a business of design if we weren't thinking about the design part. And that's why I'm really excited to have our guest today, Erin Gates, who's written the most beautiful book, which is a follow-up book, right, Erin, to an original book that you wrote.
It's my third. Yeah.
This is the third. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Elements of Style, and this is Elements of Timeless Style. If you're not
Yes.
you're not watching us on YouTube or something, you can't see how gloriously beautiful this book is, how thick it is, how fun it was for me
Thank
to
you.
have a design book in my lap again. It feels like it's been 100 years since I sat down and read a design book.
Eh, I know. I feel like that is something that kind of sets my books apart is that everyone always is like, I didn't just look at it, I actually read it. And that's what that was my intention always when writing these books is to give you something really beautiful to look at, but also something that's going to teach you a little bit about how to design your own home.
It's a really gorgeous introduction. You've got your family there. You've got
Yeah.
Andrew, Henry, and Emma. And then you tell the story of how Emma came along during COVID. And
Yeah.
I want to kind of start there because you said that COVID actually was instrumental in this book. Something about the
Oh, yeah.
experience all went through. So tell us how this book came about.
So after my second book, which wasn't as big of a hit as my first book, Elements of Family Style was about living with kids stylishly. It's still a really good book. Everyone should pick it up. Um, I was a little brokenhearted about the book writing process because my first book really was like a very unique experience. It was a New York Times bestseller. It is still selling incredibly well. It really is one of those rare things that happens. And then you're me, you expect everything you write to be that successful. And that's just not the case. It's just not the case. And it's still a beautiful book and I'm still really proud of it. But I was just a little bit like, I don't think I have it in me to do anymore. So I had told my publisher I would not write a third. And during that time, I was going through IVF and trying to have a sibling for Henry, and it was very grueling. And then I finally got pregnant and I was really focused on that. And then COVID hit. And so I had Emma in June 2020,
Oh, wow.
in masks. Yeah, we were still like, only my husband was allowed in the hospital. I only could stay for 24 hours. Like everybody in like NASA suits. It
That
was
had
really,
surreal. I remember
it was
thinking,
so,
yeah.
remember there was like that 2 weeks where like in New York City, I think exclusively like husbands weren't allowed in the delivery room, partners weren't allowed in the delivery room. And I was so scared I was gonna have to deliver this baby by myself. And we'd had a lot of traumatic loss around being pregnant. And so anyway, it was actually a very quick and easy birth, and she was gorgeous and healthy, and I was so excited. And then I got home, and my house that I wrote my first and second book about was like 1,500 square feet, and with 2 kids and all the baby stuff and babysitters and a nanny, and we were, like, busting at the seams. So we decided to actually seriously I'm always looking for new houses all the time, but this
Yeah.
time I was like, "Okay, we gotta get out of here." Like, the walls were closing in on me. I was like, "We gotta go. We gotta get out of here." So we put bids on a bunch of houses, lost them, um, and then this house came on the market, and I didn't wanna buy it because it was on a busy road, but you'll read in the book the whole story. But we ended up buying this house, which is a 1865 Empire style historic home, really beautiful and charming. And I had posted, I'm going to renovate this house. This is my forever home. And Trish Todd, who was my editor at Simon and Schuster, had emailed me and she's like, Erin, I know you said no, but I really, really think this is a book. I think this whole forever home thing and like going through the renovation process and your house is so historic. And I was like, I don't know. But then COVID kept going on and on. And although my firm got busier and busier, I did feel like maybe I have it in me to do one more. I
Yeah.
do like things in threes. So I did agree to do it. And then it took so long to write with the delays during COVID that we ended up being able to shoot 9 projects in full, which is the book is 100 pages longer than my last book, which is a
Which
lot.
is, yeah, it's beautiful, but there's quite a few things I love about, but one of the things I love are the paint selections at the end. It was kind of
Yeah.
back and I'm like, I know I've used this palette before, so I'm whipping back through past projects and going, there it is. I've done it.
Yeah.
I love that you tell a story of driving past the home that you live in now with your boss,
Mhm.
with intern, and saying that is such a charming home, and then it ends up
Yep.
being yours. What is a forever home? What does that even mean? How do we know it's a forever home?
I think it's a feeling in your gut. I will say for me it was. I've owned a couple condos and a house prior to this, and even in my house prior to this, like I knew it wasn't forever. It was small. There wasn't a big yard. I didn't feel like an super emotional connection to it when we bought it. This one, just like I walked in and I was like, this is it. And I never feel that way. I second guess everything. I question everything. I am just like captain of team pessimist. So it was very foreign to me to feel this way. I think it's like once you find a place that's in a community you love and it gives you room to breathe and stretch and do different things over time. Like I think a forever home grows with you and it
Mhm.
changes as you change. And even though I say like a lot of my decisions are pretty permanent, there's little things that are going to shift over the years. I mean, I've been here 5 years now, and already I'm starting to think like about swapping out some drapes or swapping out some pillows. And even though it's beautiful, it's what I do. So,
Yeah,
seeing new stuff all the time, but the guts of the house are so classic. And like, I don't know, I just feel like you just know in your heart when you're like, I feel like this is a place I want to put roots down.
yeah. I
I
think
just
that
think it's,
I was thinking about the idea of a forever home and how many clients we meet who maybe are not in their forever home.
yeah, yep,
It might be a beautiful home, but for whatever reason, they're like, I think we're going to be 10 years here or 12 years here or something.
yeah,
And my approach has always been to treat those homes like a forever home because a decade is a lifetime,
Yep.
and you talked about a classic style. Like, it makes me so happy when clients reach out 10 years later and say, my home is still beautiful. But in
Yeah.
fact, literally got an email yesterday from a client saying, I love, 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 love everything, but I think these poofs are tired and
Yeah.
maybe it's time for a little bit of a refresh. And I'm like, yes, let's do that.
I
So fun.
know. I'm doing that now too. Like I have a client, we did a bunch of stuff and now she's like, now we're going to renovate the kitchen. So we're going to redo 2 rooms that we just finished 5 or 6 years ago. We're going to reuse some pieces,
Yeah.
that are really great and classic, which we always, aim to buy a good chunk of furniture that's going to, stand the test of time. But it's so fun when they come back and it's like you're continuously tweaking the home. It doesn't mean like you make one set of decisions and that's it forever. It just means, I think, it's a place that you wanna grow with and into and then, not necessarily out of, but maybe. I mean, I don't know. If I won the lottery, I don't know. Maybe I would this would be my forever home. I don't know.
I was My daughter's in her first home, and it's so sweet. It's in Hollywood. It's 950 square feet, so it's tiny. But I was talking to her about the concept of loving on your home. You love on
Yeah,
your and
totally.
occasionally how you love on your home is a new light fixture or wallpaper, or you do something to like put fresh energy into the space. So you
Yes.
not we sort of don't see things that we're not tending to, right? That happens
Yep.
in relationships, it happens with homes. So,
Yep.
and I love somewhere in the book, I don't know, I think it was in Fairly Deep, you said something like, as far as I'm concerned, you wallpaper everything that doesn't move. I'm like, oh yeah. So I know this has nothing to do with anything, but I have to ask about the wallpaper behind you. It's stunning. Who is
Yeah. This is a Schumacher, a Mary McDonald. I can't remember the name of the pattern, but it's a vinyl actually. So it's a vinyl,
that?
scenic,
Okay.
chinoiserie. But what's awesome is that it looks hand painted and it's like durable. And we had put this up. This was our primary bedroom when we first bought the house, and now it's our guest suite. You'll see in the book, like I love this paper so much when we first moved in, and I had to adjust this room to add closets. And I was like, I am not getting rid of this paper. And I found a way to build in closets and just add more of this paper. And because it's a vinyl, the color stays pretty consistent over dye lot over, the stock as opposed to a grass cloth or something. So I was able to keep it and then just add it where I needed it. And now I love it even more. And it's one of those things that I'm like, I won't change this. But there's other things in my house that I'm like,
Yep.
maybe I was a little bit of a wuss and I made like a very safe decision. Um, And now I wanna go back and make that bold decision that I wish I had made before,
Yeah.
which it's easy to talk to clients that, and get them, to listen to you about that, but I'm my own worst client. I really am. I'm just when you're inundated with new stuff every day, it's paralyzing a bit for yourself. So, I think I made a lot of very safe decisions, which are beautiful, and I think I'm gonna go back and tweak a few just to kinda have a little more fun now that the book's out there.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Aquavado and the House of Roll Studio in Toronto. Aquavado is a trade-focused plumbing showroom designed to support interior designers like us with expert product guidance, educational support, and concierge-level service. Inside, the House of Roll Studio has curated selections of Perrin & Rowe, Roll, Shaw's, Victoria and Albert, Emtech, and Schwab. On Tuesday, October 7th, House of Roll Studio will host studio sessions for designers looking to build a social media strategy that will target ideal clients and build brand equity. The panel features Tiffany Lee, Paris McKenna, Olivia Beautry, and Chelsea Mazur. 4 women who've grown strong, distinctive brands from humble beginnings by using social media with clarity, consistency, and purpose. Learn more and RSVP at aquavado.com/designers. That's AQUAVATO.com/designers. And BOD listeners, you can use the promo code BODStudio25 to get 25% off registration. Enter the code at checkout when registering for any Studio Sessions event.
So funny. I lean on my staff when I build for myself because
Yeah, me too.
I'm so disciplined with clients, but when it comes to me, it's like, "Oh, I wanna do that and that." And they're like,
Yeah,
"No, you're not gonna."
no.
Literally, my staff was like, "No, you're not doing that." I'm like,
I'm
"But."
also like, yeah, I'm so confident in my decision making for my clients. Like,
Yeah.
I will be like, this is the right choice, 100%, no looking back, no second guessing. And with me, I'll like order something the next, be like, can we cancel it? I think I found something else I like instead. So my team's probably wants to throw me out a window, but
Yeah, we are hilarious that way. Okay,
yeah,
so let's talk about some of the principles that maybe, as I said, we focus on the business of interior design, but it's, one
yeah.
nice to think about decorating and let's focus on some of the principles that you lean on when you approach a project to create the feeling that it's a forever home, whether or not it's a forever home. Where do you start and what sort of principles do you lean on?
I think, first of all, whether it's just decorating or whether it's renovating, you're really leaning into to start the architecture of the home and kind of like the location where it's at. I always like to have the interior really respect and tie back into whatever architecture style the home is. I think it's really important. You can always mix eras and styles, and that's one of my favorite things to do. If somebody's in a very traditional home and everything they want is super modern, I'm like, you got to have a couple like antiques or a couple like pieces that are going to give that texture to the room that show that this is, it's an updated version of this house. It's just one of the things. My dad was an architectural designer, so I grew up around
Yeah.
design and designing homes, and I was raised to, like look at the architectural details. So I do come to it from that angle first and foremost, and I love working with architects for that reason. Um, and then I really love like hearing a family's story or client's story, where they've been, where they wanna go, what their family life is like, how they live, how they want to live, um, what's worked for them and not, and really lean into what's gonna make this special for them, not necessarily like a room worth publication, like it's about, and that's what I think is nice about our firm and this book is that each space is so different, each home is so different, because I really don't design in one way, one style. You're not like buying a certain style when you work with my team. It's very much individualized and really honing in on the family story and also like antiques and heirlooms and but also leaving enough room in the home to add as you grow as a family, I think is also important and creates a timeless kind of forever space. When you're rushing to fill every corner, it can feel a little bit done. And when it's added to over time, and as you know, it takes like 2 or 3 years to do a whole house, so it may be over the process, and it may be I've gone back to clients, like you said, like a couple years later, and they're like, "Can we add some art and some different little things to keep it growing?" Um, so those are some of my initial biggies that I like to kind of approach.
One of my favorite things to do, and probably where I get most of my inspiration for interior design, is to travel, right? Like a lot of people.
Yeah,
And I love phoning a client or FaceTiming a client from some gallery in Barcelona and saying,
yeah,
this is you. I don't know where we're gonna put it, but oh, there's your
there's
sweet dog.
beans.
This is you. I don't know where we're gonna put it, but I think this is you. And it's amazing how many times
Yeah,
they'll go, I think it is me. What is it cost? How are we gonna get it here? Send it to me and then we'll figure it out. And that
yeah,
is the beauty of getting to know someone over a couple of years. You really
exactly.
like, I can even like see a piece of art that I don't really like. It's not my thing.
Yeah,
But I can
yeah,
say, this is going to be amazing for, Jennifer over here. She's going to freaking love
yep.
this. And that feels really good. So
It
I like,
feels so nice, yeah.
what
I love that too.
what experience can you share with everybody about working with an architect? How do you make that a bit more seamless if you're approaching it as the interior design professional?
So, it's funny, you always hear that architects are like, "Oh, no, here comes the interior designer." I have not found that to be the case with most projects and most architects. I probably know how to approach them better than some other people because of my dad and watching his firm grow over my whole lifetime. But I think it's just about, for me, take that initial kickoff meeting, making sure we have a great initial kickoff meeting. We all sit down and we all establish such an open line of communication between not only me, the architect, and the builder, but make sure the client feels very involved, obviously, in that as well. And then going through everything we need to do and really assigning who's responsible for what, with the understanding that every decision is going to be run by everybody on the team. So I may be taking the lead on lighting and tile and counters and whatever materials, but I am running all those. I'm like, I will not spec anything without making sure that this works for your vision as well. And just making it truly collaborative and not like, well, I want this and, putting up like an offense. I think it's just, you have to really listen and work together. And that's when you get the best outcome.
What are you looking for your clients to say at the end of the project that tells you it's been a total success?
Um, Oh, I mean, I had a client text me the other night that she was, like, sitting in her house. She finally got to move in. It was a very dramatic build with some very shady builder, and they finally got in their house after a 4-year, really traumatic,
Wow.
experience, and we had installed that day. All the furniture had been sitting in storage. It was all ready to go. So it was very much an HGTV moment where it's like, it's all going in at once. And she was like, "I'm just sitting here crying. I'm so happy. Like, you're amazing." She said, like, "You're a miracle worker. This is just, it's more beautiful than I could ever imagined." And that's just like when you feel like, oh my God, yes, this is so what I was meant to do. Like, it just, when you see that you're helping a family create like a whole new place to live their whole life story in, it's just, it's so awesome. It's so awesome. And
Especially if it
I want them to feel like the process was enjoyable too, with my team and us, which I hear a lot of people say, like, your team is the best. Your team is so on top of things and so smart and capable and friendly. And I want this experience to be enjoyable. It's such an intimate experience, as you touched on. Like, you're really in someone's life deeply for years when you're building a home together, and you get to know them on a very different level. And I want to make sure that they feel heard and they feel like what we came up with is a good reflection of them.
especially when they've been through something traumatic and they've had
Yeah.
a terrible builder and, like, your heart just breaks
Oh my
for them.
God, I can't even. It's happened a couple times, and not often, and thankfully in my career, but at the couple times it's been really like jaw dropping, and you just want to help. I had a client who lost her house in the fires in Pasadena. We just finished,
Yeah.
and it burned down, and we just scrambled to get, like, we found a rental, thankfully, and we scrambled to help her fill that rental with, like, ready to ship things. And we had some fabric we hadn't cut yet, so we kind of repurposed it, and it was just like my whole team, we were just like dropped everything, and we were like, "We're ready." That's what you're there for. There's a lot of It's a very emotional, trying thing to build a house or to renovate, or it's super emotional. So we
Yeah.
respect that part of it too.
And it can be emotional for us too. It reminds me a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit of our experience of writing books. The first one's a hit, and I don't know about you, but I think I have a project where everything goes smooth, and I'm like, "We got
Yep.
this. We are
Yes.
on fire. We know it." And then you have a bad experience. I'm like, "I'm never doing this again. I don't want. I don't care.
Yep.
I'm gonna Starbucks. I don't need this." And then luckily you get back up and you do it again. You're like, "Okay, there's not as many bad ones as there are really,
There's
really."
also, like, cursed projects, I swear. Like, there are just some projects
Yeah.
where everything goes wrong, and it's not our fault. It's not like, you know, it's just that, like, everything gets damaged in shipping, or, like, somebody messed something up and something else got delayed, and it's just, like, sometimes we find that they're, like, really concentrated on certain projects where you're just like, "Oh, no." Like,
Do you know
why
what
this.
I actually tell clients now, I'm like, I don't want to be a bummer, but in my experience, when a couple of big things like this go wrong, it usually means there's going to be a few more. So just
Yep.
gut
You're right.
yourself, we're gonna handle it, but I just want you to know. And then if it does go wrong, they go, "Oh my God, you were so right. We're cursed." And we
Yep,
laugh.
yep,
And if
and
it
we
does
laugh,
go
yep,
wrong, they say, "Thank goodness we're so lucky," and you're like,
yep,
either way, you win. And that's sort of the wisdom I've picked up doing this for a long time, like to tell your clients
yes,
how difficult it can be. And then if it isn't that difficult, you're a hero, right? And if it is that
yeah,
difficult, there's more compassion and understanding. So in your
exactly.
expanse of your career, what are like give us three things that you think you have learned to live by, or three tips or techniques you use with clients that work every time. Give us a kind of a
Number one is we aren't mind readers. So I always say from the outset, the more inspiration you give me, the smoother this is going to go. You would assume, I think outsiders would assume that a client who's like, oh, whatever whatever you would do. That is really difficult because unless you truly don't care, and you truly just want your house filled and you don't care what it looks like, you have no personal investment in the space, that creates so many revisions. And when you're not able to communicate anything that you like, don't like, because them sharing, I always want them to share things they really don't like too, because that's a really good way to figure out, like, they may not think to tell me, oh, I really hate animal print. And if you don't tell me and I put it in there, it's like wasted money for you. So the more you can outline your desires as far as function and form, um, visually for me, that is huge. So I really don't like starting a project until somebody has pulled together enough inspiration to give me a good sense of what they want. And I'll also help them go through it too. If they don't know where to start, I've had clients be like, I don't know how to use Pinterest, or I don't know, like, we'll bring up our personal Pinterests and pull things out and say, well, what do you think about this or this? And then talk them through that process. The second thing would probably be invest and hire the best people you can, the best team you can. Um, Everyone wants to go with the lowest bid on every quote.
oh
That is
yeah.
not always, you're like, that is not a real quote. That is not a real number. That is a number to get you to sign this contract. Like, I know.
Yeah.
Really, really important to check references, make sure that especially in a build or renovation, that the people you're working with are people you trust, you feel comfortable talking to about bad and good things, and that you feel have your back. It's just so important. And if it costs a little bit extra in the end, it's going to be worth it. Trust me a million times over. It's just right. I mean, and it's a battle we fight every
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
And let's see, the last one would be just honesty and transparency in this process. I think if you really don't like something, don't be scared to tell your designer. Don't be
yeah.
scared to open up and say, there are people who are nervous to do it, and it creates problems, because then they're not happy and they hold some resentment, and it's fine. We do this all day long. I mean, this is like, there's 18 other coffee tables I can pitch you. If you don't like that one, that's fine. It doesn't hurt
Yeah,
my
totally.
feelings.
I tell my clients, I didn't make the coffee table. I didn't design it.
Yeah.
So if you hate it, I hate it too. Like, just give it to me straight. We'll find the
And
one
I
you like.
mean, yeah, even people are, like, scared to tell me, like, if I, like, pitch one of my own products, like my own rugs or something, they're like, "I don't love it." I'm like, "That's fine. Like,
Totally.
it's not for everyone." Like, it's seriously, like, it's fine. Um, and we always end up in a better place than if you were to just be like, "Oh, well, I'll
Yeah.
just, you know, suck it up." I
Yeah.
don't like that. I like people to be really honest.
Yeah. If so, I have had situation where the client's like, I don't know about that. And I'll go to bat for the thing because I think it's the right
Yes.
choice. So no,
Well, sometimes
love
absolutely, yes.
that.
I
But
think in the
other
long
times,
term, yeah.
yeah, if you hate animal print, bye. Goodbye.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, if I will push 1 or 2 times for something that I really think they're gonna be
Yeah.
happy with, and it might be out of their comfort zone, and I know that 90% of the time when that's the case, that's the thing they love the most in the end, is the thing you've chosen that they're like, "I don't know, that's a lot," that's, like, a little crazy for me. Always, that's their favorite piece or room or whatever it is in the end. But I'll only push back 1 or 2 times, and then it's like, it's your money in your home, and if you
Yeah.
don't love it and you're not comfortable, then we'll find something else, and that's okay.
Well, I must say, I really enjoyed every minute of this. It's a beautiful book, great projects, really good reminders of the things to keep your focus on as you're working with a new
Yeah.
client and leading them to consider the things you're suggesting. And I feel like it's just had been such a long time since I picked up a design book that, and had a cup of coffee and sat down with my feet up and turned the pages and kind of went like, yeah. So anyway, it just congratulations. I'm so happy for you. We like to
Thank
end
you.
the episode with something we call design intervention, just a great last minute piece of advice, something you want to leave everybody with,
Oh boy, that's a
right?
lot of pressure.
Maybe it's something you taught you about the business. I think that's such an advantage to have a dad who was an architect. How cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool. And it really was informative growing up. I think it's just in this business, I think it can be very competitive and can get a little bit catty's not the right word, but I think there's room for everyone in this business. I think everybody brings something new to the table and different. And I really have loved communicating and sharing stories and drinks and coffee with other designers all over the country that I've met through Instagram, that I've met on tour, that I've met at their own book tours or their own events. And I think collaboration and community is so important in the design industry. And I think it's just it helps everybody, it lifts everybody up. So I just feel like really engaging in that community can be really inspiring and helpful in ways you may not even understand yet. But it really has been one of the best parts of being a designer is getting to meet all these incredible other people who are creative and inspiring and funny and kind. And I don't know, that's just kind of a benefit to being in such an industry that's so rapidly changing and flexible, and I
Mhm.
just love it.
Yeah, I do too. And I love that too. Maybe you've inspired someone to write a book. I think that would be, I think,
Well, I'm doing a book signing with Andrew Howard, who I love, and we've never met in person. We've been DMing for years. And he has a book coming out at the same time I do. And he's like, "Girl, let's team up." And I'm like, "Let's team up." Like, great.
that's fun. And that was September 30th. That's the release date,
That's the
right?
launch date. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the day it comes out.
All
So
right. So for more details about Erin, everything is at businessofdesign.com. Thank you so much.
thank you
Congratulations.
for having me. Thank you.
All right. Stay well.